What-o, chaps? How the devil? Welcome to the show. It's the BBC Spews live on the 14th of April. God bless America and God save the Queen, unless she's a lizard, at which point I reserve the right to change my mind, and so does God. How's everyone doing? I used to be a reluctant monarchist, like so many. I think I would use the term a status quo monarchist, right? Got nothing to do with the status quo, the band. But, I try and explain this to Americans quite frequently. Working class people in Britain, it's not that they love the monarchy. I mean, what do you think? I'm some sort of sad bastard who collects the teapots and the anniversary plates. I couldn't give a monkey's fart. But, lots of us are sort of socially conservative and we basically live by the rules. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If we've managed to keep the children fed for the last 5 decades using the system that we've got, I don't see any need to make any big changes. It's not that we love the Queen or the monarchy. We don't love it, but it seems to have worked all right, so just leave it alone. That was always my opinion. And I think most of the UK would be the same, right? A status quo monarchist. But it's fucking sad state of affairs now. Anyway, I don't want to start talking about the monarchy. That's not what I'm discussing today. Blue Van Man rocking all over the world. Yeah, what a fucking tune. I remember when they played up in Skinning Grove or somewhere in Middlesbrough. It was like a weird tour they were doing. Anyone asking me about the Beatles crack, right? That was because I've been playing around with things, trying to make this hodgepodge of a show at least have a modicum of professionalism. Now, I know you might say, Bootneck, you're sitting in the chair talking bollocks. You haven't got any production values. But, I'm trying to change it. I took it to heart when Paz said he was getting criticised for the lack of production values in his fucking streams. Like we're all supposed to have dancing girls with placards behind us. So I'm trying to make things a little bit more professional. Yeah, to catch the naysayers before the start. And I was playing with this, right? You can have banners on. So there's one I made, right, for this story. Guilty verdict for Islamic State Beatle jihadists. Do you remember they were called John, Paul, and Ringo? So obviously my banner was going to be George was my favourite Beatle. I made that quip in a pub once when we were sat having a drink, and someone said the Beatles jihadis, the jihadi Beatles were called John, Paul, and Ringo. And I was like, see, George always was my favourite. And he was. It wasn't just a quip. So that's not bad, is it? It looks quite professional. Here is the news in my best. I always say Desmond, as in Desmond fucking Tutu, or the Black Barber from Channel 4 when I was a teenager. What was he called? The well-spoken black gentleman who used to always read the news. Trevor McDonald. That's it. I always fucking forget. Trevor McDonald. I'm going to put my best Trevor McDonald on. I can have banners, right? Or I was practicing from doing yesterday's story. We've got this one, right? What I discussed yesterday, the gay dialogue removed from film from Chinese audiences. We've got smoke some bloke, Harry, right? It's like, you're a wizard, Harry. Now it's smoke some bloke, Harry. But I'm not gay, Dumbledore. Just put it in your mouth. How do you know if you've never tried it, eh? Don't knock it till you've tried it. Smoke some bloke, Harry. Go on, just 5 seconds. Just hum the first verse of the national anthem with Grindelwald's balls in your mouth, son. Come on, you might enjoy it. So, yeah, good that, innit? Very professional. Anyway, got rid of that. Let's have a quick look at the chat. There's fucking loads of yous in, so you're not all getting a name check. This chap seems to have the same hair as Hendrix, right decade, wrong band. Don't. Oh yeah, you're on about the jihadi there. George Harrison was sound. Yeah, see, apparently George was all right. I always said that. George seemed like he was all right. John and fucking Paul are just smug, insufferable twats, aren't they? Anyway, what else have we got? Samuel, Gone Wrong, Doll, Rosebud, Two Tones, Stevie Ray, Richard Eric, and Sadwings. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Look at this. There was me making a quip as well about appearing more professional. Professionals are on time. Fucking hell. Steady on, balls to all. I mean, hey, if I was charging for it, I think you could reserve the right to complain. Like if you go to a fine restaurant and your meal's shit, you've got every right to have a pop, haven't you? However, if you're at the Salvation Army soup kitchen and someone brings you some soup over and you go, could use a little bit more oregano in that soup, and you're getting it for nought, well, you're just being a cheeky twat, aren't you? And I've said this before, if you come on time to a fucking live stream, there's nobody there. So you've got to be fashionably late. All the military people have a pop with me about this. We're not in the fucking military anymore. You're not in the army. We're in the army now. Not anymore. You're on YouTube, right? And I'm owed about 6,000 hours because when you have to falling outside the armory at fucking 3 o'clock in the morning for an 8 a.m. start, there's 5 hours in the bag. So I'm definitely owed a few thousand hours. I'm going to take them back off you lot, right? Is that not fair? Got my mind. Yeah, that was probably the best solo effort from the Beatles. Absolute tune. And the music video is good as well. You know, when George does like a bit of a flick flack out the chair. Loving that. Loving that. Right. We have standards. Winston. This is the internet. You can tell me you have standards, but you might be out there with a hard-on in your slippers and your dressing gown at fucking 11 o'clock in the morning. Don't talk to me about standards on the internet. Everyone's a fucking hero in cyberspace. Bootneck is brutally honest. He doesn't like to paint himself with a thin veneer of respectability. When you swear and you don't script anything and you do the drawings yourself and you cobble everything together and you don't have a script, it seems a bit ridiculous to start turning up early as well. I mean, Jesus. I don't want to set anybody up for failure. So, right, let's get down to business, shall we? Do some news. Nobody wants to talk about erections. We've all done that plenty of times. Let's talk about something else. So, this story I covered yesterday, so let's get rid of it. Give us a chew, Harry. I'll never get that. I fucking love that. I'll never get old. It'll never get old. Guilty verdict for Islamic State jihadists. Well, I never saw that coming. Fuck me. I like the way that the news reports this like it's news. They admit it. Because they do it explicitly for their insane religious ideology. They take pleasure in telling you they did it. Why do we even bother with the farce of a fucking court case when the bloke's just like, yeah, did it for Alan. Did it for Alan. Same with this guy. Same with fucking David Amos's killer. It's lunacy. Oh, yeah. Oh, we've got a guilty. They're never going to get out. It's a victory. Oh, it's a victory, is it? You've been importing and fucking brainwashing legions of killers for decades, and we're supposed to think this is a win. Once again, El Shafi El Sheikh. He's about as British as a fucking lambooner, right? And we're meant to take this as a win. A US federal jury has convicted a British jihadist. Yeah. Really. Yeah, we all should shiver with shame for this, lads. It's our fault. The working classes, we haven't tried enough. We haven't done enough to welcome these people. So basically, it's your fault, Mr. fucking bus driver. Yeah, you, bus driver that's watching this. Yeah, worked hard, paid your taxes, never broke the law. Come from 39 generations of British people, born and raised in these fucking damn islands. It's your fault, you cunt. It's your fault that the government imports en masse hundreds of thousands of fighting age men, ditches them all in fucking 3 streets in Middlesbrough, and then funny old thing, they don't integrate very well. Well, fuck me sideways, they don't integrate very well. No shit, Sherlock. How stupid is this? Anyway, before I go on a rant, we'll at least read the story, and I'll do my best to make it YouTube friendly, right? So by YouTube friendly, I mean intolerant, totalitarian, authoritarian brainwashing. So all from now on, anyone, nobody will be referred to as the J word there, because you can't say that. If you say that, Susan will get very angry. So from now on, every time I'm going to say that, instead I'll replace it with Orthodox Jew, right? And we're not allowed to say this because this sounds foreign. So from now on, instead of that, I will replace it with the word. Trying to think of a nice Christian surname that sounds a bit like that. Eric Simon Elwood. Right, there we go. So Simon, we'll just call him Simon. In fact, we can use his Beatles name and then we're all happy. It's in keeping with the story and Susan won't bollock me. So who was this fucker, George? Was this John Paul or Ringo? Anybody know? Anyway, he's a complete fucking human toilet. And he chops people off, and he was found guilty of lethal hostage taking and conspiracy to commit murder. Sudanese-born Londoner, fucking Londoner, really. Well, I've told you this before. There was a bloke in Middlesbrough in the kebab shop, and he looked the fucking double of Osama bin Laden. If it turned out that it was Osama bin Laden, and he was living in Middlesbrough for fucking 8 years, is he a borough lad? Is he a borough lad? What do you mean, Sudanese-born Londoner? It doesn't make any sense on the fucking face of it. If Osama was working in fucking the Curry House on Linthorpe Road, and I was convinced he was, I rang the CIA. I was like, "Here, lads, I found him. He's this little skinny beardy weirdy who I'm fucking certain has had his ball sack in the coleslaw before he makes me a kebab. Get yourselves down there. It's the Curry House on Linthorpe Road, Middlesbrough. I'm telling you it's him." Turned out it was a bum lead, but I was nearly there. It must have been a relative. He fucking must have been. Anyway, the Sudanese-born Londoner. Sudanese-born Londoner. Yeah, of course he is. Yeah. He's as much of a Londoner as fucking Dick Van Dyke was, and we all heard Dick Van Dyke's accent on Mary Poppins. Hello, Mary Poppins. Yeah. What was that, Dick? And Dick was more of a Londoner than this fucker. Sudanese-born Londoner. I mean, you couldn't make it up, could you? Anyway, 3 other men, the Beatles, because of their British accents. Couldn't make it up. Sudanese, Somalians, whatever. Londoners. British as fuck. Bernard Manning, he wasn't British. No. Every single one of his fucking forebears might have been born in Britain for 1,000 years, but he wasn't British. No, you see, because Bernard said things that we don't like and the people in the Silicon Valley don't like. So he wasn't British. I mean, like I said, the loonies that run the world now, you get like some bloke who was born and raised in fucking Nigeria, and then he lives in London for 4 years, and not only do they say he's British, but when I start having an argument with them on Twitter, they go, "He's more British than you cunt." It's like, really? I mean, I don't know how you would quantify such a thing. I don't know about what metrics you can measure these things, but it's mad, isn't it? It's mad. It reminds me of when Obama famously said, you guys will remember it because you're all based in this fucking chat room, when Obama said that when a load of followers of Alan's legendary snack bar, when a load of Alan's boys who, let's get this, let me just lay this out, how devout they are, right? Because this always makes me laugh, right? In the old days, I would never stop Father fucking Smith in the street and say, "All right, mate, how often do you go to church?" And he'd say, "Oh, well, I do mass every Sunday, and I run confession 3 times a week, and I also take the children for Sunday school. And I live there, so I'm probably in church about 365 days a year. Maybe have a couple of days off. What about you, my child?" And I said, "Well, Father, my old fella doesn't give a monkey's fart about church. He's too busy going to fucking weld and carry steel upstairs in the rain. So we don't really do religion much in my house, if I'm honest. However, I still write C of E on a bit of paper because, it's the way Britain's always been. It's culturally Christian. And that's about it. And the first time I ever went to a fucking church was like 9 when it was a funeral. And yeah. Nobody would pop out of a bush with a fucking press token in the hat like they do now and go, "He's more Christian than you, Father." Do you know what I mean? Because that's what they do now. That's what they do now, don't they? If you get a bloke who is 100% devoted to their religion of choice, to the point where they're willing to kill themselves for no other reason than they think it propagates or promotes their religious ideology of choice, right? You get people, I shit you not, you know where this is going. You get people who have memorized the entire, I can't say that either, the entire, that book that they like, that the epileptic goat herding midget reads, right? They've memorized the entire book, right? They can quote any fucking chapter or verse that you ask them to do so, right? They observe that it sounds a bit like ram. Actually, that's a joke, isn't it? What do you call a certain group who shags sheep? Ramalam. That's a good one. I think it was anyway, whatever. They observe that. So they pray 5 times a day. They've memorized the fucking book. They don't eat pork. They have a big beard. They've got more than one wife. They make the wife wear a sandbag over her fucking head. They don't gamble. They don't smoke and drink. They basically do everything they can possibly do to be as devout as they possibly can, right? Everything. They live it. They breathe it 5 times a day. Go to the church with a bell end on every time they can. Live it, breathe it, everything. And then finally, they happily commit suicide at the age of 23 because they think that that pleases the God, right? And then when they attack a gay nightclub in America and kill a load of people while screaming Alan's legendary snack bar, Obama goes on telly and goes, they're not really religious, them. You know who is religious? My mate Akbar, who doesn't really go to the Bell End Church, and he doesn't have a beard because he said they're itchy and they annoy him. And he drinks because he's a good lad and we like to go to baseball games. And but basically, he's definitely more of one than the bloke who blew himself up because I've decided. And that's what British people do all the time. British people, whenever I try and debate, because, you know, I'm an argumentative fucker, I'll be at a house party back at home or in the pub, and we'll start arguing about the obvious because they've just blew a load of kids up or stabbed some woman in the eye. And I'll be like, yeah, but it's this ideology, isn't it? It's definitely problematic because it promotes people to do acts of violence because they think, incorrectly, that the God's going to like it. And there's always usually a woman, Guardian reader from Manchester or London, Liverpool, some big festering city, and they'll say, oh, but they're not a proper one, are they? They're not a proper one. I'll tell you who's a proper one. My mate, whose mum and dad are from Pakistan, but she was born and raised here, and she doesn't really go to the Bell End Church, and she drinks booze. She loves a bottle of Wicked when she goes clubbing on a weekend, and she loves a bacon sandwich because, you know, they're fucking nice, aren't they? And yeah, but she definitely is deeply religious, and she's the person you point at and say, no, they're not all bad. Look, she's brilliant. She's sound as a pound. The fucking the hardcore indoctrinated blow themselves up gleefully with an erection. Yeah, run into a crowded pop concert, blow loads of kids up with a fucking boner because you think you're going to go to paradise. They're not even religious, then. You know whose fault that was? It was the Christians. That's what President Obama said. President Obama actually said that. He said not only was the Pulse nightclub shooting nothing to do with the religion, it was really probably more because of Jesus on it. Definitely. Because the bloke who used to fucking have last suppers with his 13 fucking mates, he was definitely homophobic, him. So, I mean, you can't make this fucking stuff up. You cannot make it up. Anyway, that was a bit of a rant. Let's just crack on. The group's actions are said to have resulted in the deaths of 4 American hostages and more than that. Killed David Haynes and Alan Henning. These poor bastards. That Alan Henning, do you remember that? He was a fucking saint, that bloke. It's sad because being a cynical, bad-tempered bastard like me, a large part of me, I did feel bad for him, but at the same time, I thought he was a fucking idiot. Like, I guess you call that pathological altruism. Like, what a nice fella that Alan Henning was. Stupid, but nice. Like, his heart was in the right place. To kill people like that is just monstrous. These people don't deserve any mercy at all. That poor lass got fucking raped senseless for months. You know, it was a mercy when they dropped the fucking bomb on her. These people are just the worst scum. Like, I don't understand how me talking about it's controversial. You know what I mean? You have to mince your words and dance around the topic, because if you dare do it, you're the villain. And these people practice a medieval ideology. Again, the problem isn't really the religion, because just like Christianity and Judaism, they evolve over time and they do get more mellow. We've already had our Reformation. So the problem isn't the religion per se. It's a dogmatic, strict, scripturally literalist version of the religion. And when you do that, you need to be met head on with extreme violence. You can't deal with literalists, Quranic literalists, with kid gloves. You can't say to them, oh yeah, man, but compassion, bro. They don't care. They set people on fire. They murder and rape. They dash children's brains out against walls to save on ammunition. They are living in the fucking dark ages. And the BBC, because they aren't the watchers on the walls who've had to do this job for a living, they think you can defeat them with kindness. What planet are you fucking living on, you stupid, insufferable, middle-class arsehole? Blue Van Man, by the way, are you not watching Leicester? I thought BVM would be watching the Leicester game. Isn't that on? Last I heard, they were losing to PSV. Anyway, this is shocking. I don't want to, let's not trivialize it by talking about football. That poor bastard, all three of them, all four of them, just every one of them went through such extreme torture and misery and deprivation before they died. It just consumes you with rage and hatred. And it's difficult to think logically and reasonably about the problem. But when you do it and you sit and ruminate on it and try to come up with a good, balanced opinion of how you deal with this, I have a plan. What you do is you instantly stop importing fighting age men from the worst fucking countries on planet Earth. That's a start. Just throw it out there. Pretty shitty. You rice pudding faced fucking Jezebel. Just throwing out there. You stop importing fighting age men from all of the nations where 99% of the people that live there practice, live and breathe the ideology that leads to the joining of the state, the Orthodox Jew state, right? Because you can slag them off. You just can't have a go at this fucking protected class. Yeah, so let's start with that. Controversial, I know. Maybe I'm just a crazy guy and it's just a crazy idea. It'll never work. Are you mad, man? That plan will never work. What? Stop importing the fucking blokes who kill everyone? Yeah, no, that'll never fucking work, That'll never work. You know what you should do? Keep importing fighting age men from the worst places in the world and have a go at Bernard Manning instead. He died years ago. That'll help. Because remember, diversity is strength. How'd you work that out? Let's think of this in any context where it makes sense, right? If you had a fighting unit where you all agree on everything, Royal Marines are a good example. They do indoctrinate you, so you're at one with the core. You've got the core ethos, the core values, you agree. You have a mission and you all agree on it. And you put alongside your battle brothers and you all agree on the mission and you all agree, protect each other, serve the core, service before self, right? That works. History has proven it works. Whether it's twatting the frogs, taking Gibraltar from the Spaniards, or assaulting Bunker Hill. It's proven that it works. If we said, fuck the car, what we should do is because diversity is strength, what we should do is we should get rid of this cohesive fighting unit of men who all agree on the mission and all agree on the ethos and all agree that they should service before self and assist each other to achieve their main aim, regardless of expending their lives in the process. What we should do is get rid of all them. We won't call it the core anymore. We'll call it the Umbrella Collective. And it's going to be a big umbrella, and there's no real cohesiveness. We don't really agree on everything, but it's going to be brilliant because it's going to be diverse. And instead of having every one of those in my company, I was in Charlie Company when we went to Afghanistan. Instead of all of us being the same sex, we were all men, young, same age, colour. That's not quite right, but there was one or two lads from minority groups, but same gender, same age, same geographic background, same cultural background, same. Let's get rid of that. Disband them all, and we'll have, we'll have a little short fat bloke, a little ginger woman, we'll have a few dwarves, we'll have a midget, we'll have a woman with a cleft palate and a club foot, we'll have a fucking Buddhist and a Sikh and a Jew and an atheist and a Sunni and a Shia, and we'll have a fucking pan Rastafarian and a fucking, you name it, and we'll get them all together in a big massive group, and we'll say, do what you like, lads, do what you fucking like, because diversity. Oop, there's the enemy. Well, do what you like, because we don't want to do drills and tactics and all think the same and act the same as a unit in a strong, cohesive force. Nah, training's for fucking losers. Let's just do all diversity of strength. So tactics will be working well if we have a diversity of tactics, yeah? You can just do what you like. You do what you fucking like, lads. Go on, get them. Get them. And just send them on the way. Let's see how well it goes. Send in the hermaphrodite Martians, Ralph. Yeah. Let's see how it goes. It's bollocks. We know it's bollocks. There's no need for me to talk about it anymore. I don't want to bore you. We know it's bollocks. Our society is being eaten away from the inside, and they are doing it on purpose. And that's that. That's that. No sense talking about it anymore. And this bollocks, well, the only upside of this is at least the American taxpayers are going to be feeding the cunt for the next 70 years. Oh, hang on. I'm an American taxpayer now. Don't! So I'm buying his fucking chicky nugs for the next 45 years. Nice one. I'm loving that. I'm loving that. Joe Biden's wiped out my stock portfolio in the last 12 months, and now to fucking top it all off, I've got to buy fucking this cunt's Lucky Charms for the next 70 years. Nice one. Nice one. It's all going fucking tickety-boo across the pond. Christ almighty. So let's do something else, shall we? Before I get angry. Speaking of angry, he's a great story. This'll soon cheer me up. Ukraine attention shows bias against. Do I even need to talk about the WHO anymore? I mean, really? Do I need to talk about the WHO anymore? They've been so discredited in the last 2 years. They were done before this story came out. They were done. The pandemic done them in. They've got no credibility anymore. None. They lie, they cheat, they steal. They're just like every other globalist cabal. They do as they're fucking told. They dance to the tune. They've got no credibility. Nobody cares what they think. They work for the Chinese Communist Party. They took money off the Chinese and said, no, there's no virus in China. And then 3 months later, whoops, it's out. Oh, yeah, well, it definitely wasn't China's fault. Rimming fucking Mao Zedong's shitbox from beyond the grave. The WHO is a Chinese fucking power grab, right? Everybody knows it. Again, don't listen to me. Do your own research. Go on fucking Google or whatever, Google or whatever the fuck you like, and have a look. They denied it. The stories are dated. They're still up there. No. There's nothing going on in China. You lying rat bastards. The WHO has got no credibility. The WHO are about as credible as that Belgian health minister who weighs about 40 stone and has a head like a fucking wheelie bin. Who's that? Anyone remember her name? What's that? Let me just Google that. Belgian Health Minister. You'll fucking love this. There she is. Look at this. For those of you that haven't seen it, that's the Belgian Health Minister. Look at the more chins than the Chinese phone book. That's the Belgian Health Minister. She has to put a belt on with a boomerang, and she's the fucking Belgian Health Minister. No, I'm not allowing it. Fuck off. The clip of her. She's got a fucking head like a wheelie bin. You couldn't make it up, could you? Like, that is unbelievable. If you could fit 14 kilos of potatoes in your fucking hat, you can't be the health minister. She's got eyes like a shithouse rat and fucking 60 chins. That's a good one. More flaps than an elephant's ball sack. I like it. I like it. That's unbelievable, isn't it? Imagine spearing that whale. Even Stevie Wonder wouldn't fuck that. Jockey Wilson, that's brilliant. Fucking, it is Jockey Wilson. Jockey Wilson with teeth. If Jockey Wilson went and got some dentures put in, that's in. It's fucking uncanny. So, yeah, there's the Belgian Health Minister. The WHO has got less credibility than the Belgian Health Minister, which to say is none, right? So this is nonsense. The WHO are doing China's bidding, and China are trying to destabilize the West by pushing this war commie narrative on everybody else while being basically capitalist fucking tyrants themselves. It's a mad world. It's a mad world. You've got to be playing 4D chess all the time. But this is what it is. The WHO works for the Chinese, and the WHO therefore push the race baiting constantly because they don't care about your health. They don't care about your health. Just like fatty big tits doesn't care about your health. The Belgian Health Minister drinks fucking vegetable oil neat out the bottle like it's a soda stream. She's like, just necks it. What's for 11s is a pint of mayonnaise and a litre of vegetable oil washed down with a litre of vegetable oil. Fucking bellissimo. These people are freaks. Don't listen to them. And well, at least she's body positive, Sadwigs. Yeah, that's true. So the WHO are just a shell. It's a globalist shell that works for the Chinese in tandem with any woke fucking oligarch trying to push this bollocks on us to destabilize our countries, make us all fucking miserable. Anyway, let's have a look at this one, right? So Tedros, who I love that photo though. It looks like that's the Chinese blokes just turned up and said, "Here, this is what you have to tell them." And he's gone, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" Like, you know, he's like, "Yeah, we're taking all your money, but we're trying to at least keep it quiet." He said, "No, what you have to do is you have to go on about this and talk about racism." And Tedros has gone, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" You know what I mean? Because he knows what's coming. So the head of the World Health Organization says the world does not give equal attention to emergencies affecting black and white people. Yeah. Well, I'll cover this in a moment, Tedros. Tedros, I won't even try. Ad hominem, that's a good name. Tedros ad hominem. Well, you best prepare yourself for some ad hominem, you fucking geggy, chinless fucking shit for brains. How about that? With your NHS specs, looks like someone drew your face on with a marker pen, you fucking chinless wonder. And he's got teeth like a burn fence. So I can go all day, Tedros, you fucking worm. Tedros ad hominem gay bus, right? So Tedros gay bus said only a fraction of help given to the UK was given to other humanitarian crises. Well, I'll tell you what, first things first, this isn't one of my main points I was going to make, but I'll just say this right out the bat. The reason they're probably not giving as much money to somewhere like Yemen or Afghanistan, right? Look, I mean, seriously, you have to have a head full of cow shit. But he said assisting Ukraine was very important because it impacts the whole world. But Afghanistan, Syria, and Yemen aren't getting as much attention. Right? Tedros. Have you ever heard the phrase, don't throw bad money after good? Ever heard that? Have you ever heard the phrase, pull your head out your ass, you silly bastard? You ever heard that phrase? If you want to send humanitarian aid to Ukraine, being as it's a European country, you can sort of rest assured that eventually it's going to do some good. But if you send humanitarian aid to an absolute festering shit pit that has been in ruins for fucking 4 centuries, the only thing you're guaranteeing is that you're pissing your money into the wind. Maybe the reason people aren't as interested in giving money to Afghanistan, Tedros Ghebreyesus, is because the Taliban have just took over Afghanistan and they were on video kicking the dogs to death. What do you want me to do? Send the Taliban some fucking protein shakes, you silly twat. Are you mentally ill? Are you fucking mentally ill? Syria, ruled over by Bashar al-Assad. What do you want me to do? Send a music box for an 8-year-old in Syria. Oh yeah, she's definitely going to get it, Tedros. You fucking moron. Yemen. Yeah, seriously, go to Las Vegas, get as drunk as you possibly can, and then stick all your money on black. That is a better way to spend your money than ditching it on a humanitarian effort in fucking Afghanistan. Yemen. Have you seen the state of Yemen? Have you seen the state of Yemen? That really is like the equivalent of trying to bail the Titanic out with a fucking teaspoon. You've just tore a 90-foot hole in the side. And Tedros is there with a teaspoon. Every little helps, lads. It doesn't, Tedros. You're a fucking moron. How do people like this rise to these dizzy heights? How? Anyway, so that's just a periphery point. That's not even my main point. I'm going to make 3 main points. That's just a fun one. Maybe people aren't as comfortable giving money to the Taliban as they are giving money to little girls from Europe, right? Just that. You can have that one for now, and I'll do some more. I don't know if the world really gives equal attention to black and white. Well, I do, Tedros. Yeah, we look after them ones, and we fucking don't look after them ones. Evidenced by the fact that the single metric we use for measuring poverty in the UK, the best one for poverty in children, is whether or not they qualify for free school meals. And young black kids on free school meals in the United Kingdom are 10 times more likely to go to university than young white kids who've lived there for 20 generations and have paid taxes for fucking 2,000 years. That is a fucking fact. So yeah, I know if the world gives equal attention to them. And yeah, the world gives far more attention to them, even though they're in the majority, and far less attention to them, Tedros. So you can suck my stump, Tedros, on the back of Tedros Ghebreyesus. I need to be blunt and honest. Well, you're just lying, so you're not being blunt and honest. You're being a cunt, but you're not being honest. We're not treating the human race the same way, no, because some people in the human race, like Tedros, are fucking slimy shitbags who do nothing but lie every time their forked tongue flicks between their fucking burnt fence teeth. Tedros, who's from Tigray, said the United Nations had determined that 100 trucks a day were needed to the Ethiopian region. Yeah, again, they live right near the Congo. Tell them to just fucking have cross the border and get some fucking umbongo, right? Umbongo, they drink it in the Congo, the pineapple, the mandarin, the guava, the fucking hippo, and they all did a funny dance in the sunny, funny one they called umbongo. Go and drink that. It's full of vitamin C, really hydrates you. Good stuff. Calorific as well. It's quite a lot of sugar in it. Job done. Fixed. There's the bootneck. Sorting the world out again. It's so easy. I just sit here. I haven't even got a script. Done. There's Ethiopia. Fucking sorted. No more famine. No more starvation. No more dehydration. Umbongo, they're drinking in the Congo. Cross the border, lads. Everyone. Just cross the border. Lash yourselves up. It's got a nice sweet aftertaste. Fucking brilliant. There we go. Problem solved. Oh, yeah. Now I'll talk about the 3 points I was going to make and ignore all this bollocks about you, Yemen and fucking Afghanistan. So let me tell you why this is bollocks. And like I said, when I was starting talking, I was going to give you 3 reasons, but I've just give you 4 because that extra one is that's just change. You can have that for now. These 3 reasons why Ukraine gets more attention than fucking Afghanistan, right? Or Yemen. Point number 1. Every time I've seen Ukrainian refugees on buses or at airports or rocking up in any Western European countries. Every time, they've predominantly been women and children. Every time. If I just go on Google now, I haven't planned this, I'll just put BBC Ukrainian refugees. And let's just have a look at the photos we see. Right? Tiny Scottish town opens arms to Ukrainian refugees. All right. So what do you see? First thing you see is a lot of women and kids. That's what you see. I mean, yeah, 119. Let's have a look. That was just a quick Google, just to make the point. I mean, you all know what I'm talking about.
Local chicks. However,
you don't need to. You don't need me to prove it to you. You see stuff like that. You see women, kids. There's loads of them. There's been ones on the BBC. There's been loads of photos. If you just Google BBC Ukrainian refugees, you'll probably see some photos of them. And it's women and kids. There's one. First one. If you just Google BBC Ukrainian refugees, there, look, bosh. Second one. There we go. Women and kids. Women, woman, kid, woman, kid. Easy. Same there. A woman and a kid. Woman and a kid. Loads of kids there. Look at that. Look at that. BBC News. Children on their own. Parents stay behind. Women and children. Everywhere you fucking look. Right? Now we'll type in, and I'm even going to use the BBC as my source because the BBC's left-wing and lies. Right? Now we'll type in, what should we say? Calais migrants. Calais migrants. Let's see what we get. Calais migrants. Oh, look. Weird, that, isn't it? Oh, there's another one. See what we're talking about there? Just click on that. Let's bring it up. There we go. Children, what is this? Policemen try to prevent migrants from reaching the Channel Tunnel near Calais, northern France. So, there we go. I've done all that on the fly. So, you know there's no tomfoolery from the Angry Bootneck. Let's bring that up. So that's off the first fucking story I found using Google Images. So point number one for anyone who's a total fucking gibbon with clothes on. Point number one. Most of the refugees coming from Ukraine are women and children because they're following that old European tradition, funny old thing of the men fight and the women and kids leave. In fact, it's not even a European tradition. It came off the ancient Greeks. It just so happens that the fucking dinghy divers don't give a flying fuck about the concept of women and children first, right? So there's your bog standard Channel Tunnel migrants. What have we got in that picture? Let's have a. Can we go closer? No, it won't let me. Let's have a look. Hairy ass bloke, hairy ass bloke, hairy ass bloke, hairy ass bloke. Hairy ass bloke, hairy ass bloke. That might be a woman with a green headscarf on there. Maybe. Probably a bloke. Hairy ass bloke, hairy ass bloke, hairy ass bloke, hairy ass bloke. More pubes than Chewbacca, little fucking Ewok. Hairy ass bloke. Do you see what I'm getting at? So, reason number one, fighting age men aren't welcome any fucking where. Hairy ass blokes scare people. Who would you rather, if you had to take a refugee into your house, you had to. The government passed a law because they're tyrants and they don't give a fuck. They steal houses off you, the communist fucking scum that they are. They steal your house, seize private property, jazz are on steroids. They say, right, you have to take a migrant in. Who would you volunteer to take? Right? You've got young kids in your house. You've got your wife who's at home on her own when you're at work. Who would you volunteer to take? Jezza, Owen Jones, BBC shit cunt. Who would you volunteer to take? A 20-year-old fucking bloke who broke it illegally or a 12-year-old girl? Answers on the back of a postcard, you fucking plank, is the simple one. So there's reason number one. Let's get back to the story. And fucking hell, see, women can't move for women and kids when the Ukrainians. So there you go, Tedros. So put that in your pipe and smoke it, you fucking clown. Secondly, Ukraine is currently in Europe, right? So when you're European, who do you think you're going to worry about more? The people on your own continent or some fucking shit pit thousands and thousands of miles away where you can't find it on a map and you don't even know what continent it's in? I mean, I guarantee the general public, if you say, where's Syria? What continent is it on? Can you pick it out on a blacked out map? Most people can't. It's human nature to worry about that which is close to you. That's why, funny old thing, if your next door neighbour's house is burning fucking down, you're a bit concerned because the fire may spread. If you fucking turn the radio on and they say there's a fire in Leeds, 270 miles away, you don't go, shit. Pack the bags, love. Why? There's a fire in Leeds. Go back to bed, you silly twat. That's how that conversation would go, wouldn't it? Right? So there's two logical fucking reasons. I mean, Frank, you don't need any more, do you? The first one is good enough. Hairy ass blogs versus little kids and women. You fucking figure out. Second one, geographic location. Third one. Oh, no, I forgot the third one. I've ranted for so long. I forgot the third good point I was going to make. I might have to reuse that fourth one. But it's lunacy, isn't it? It's fucking lunacy. If I just bimble for a bit, I might remember it. What was it? Oh yeah, the economic migrant crisis as well. Because this has been going on for so long, right? And Europeans typically don't come from third world countries because they're European, where they have massive numbers of economic migrants. It makes sense to be far more skeptical when someone turns up at the airport and says, oh, I'm a refugee. If I go home, I'm going to be raped to death. It makes sense to be skeptical because for the last 20 years they've been lying to us. In fact, it might have been the WHO itself many years ago who conceded the fact that 85%, I believe it was 85%, and this was their numbers, or it might have been the Home Office, said 85% of the people who called themselves refugees weren't refugees, they were economic migrants. You have a war in Afghanistan, and then you check whatever background you can of these people, and they're Afghans, Moroccans, Algerians, Pakistanis, Indians, you name it. Not so with Ukraine, because they can't get away with it, can you? If you're a Ukrainian, it's quite obvious to a European where you've come from. You can't. If I turned up in fucking Germany and went, all right, lads, I'm from Ukraine, you cunts, I'm done in about a day. If you're from a Western European country, you've got records, you've got backgrounds. If you come from fucking Algeria, they just throw all the documentation in the sea and say, I'm from Syria, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, you cunts, I'm from Syria. And you're done. There are numerous reasons why Europe cares more about Europe than random arseholes from Yemen thousands of miles away. And everybody knows it. And Tedros knows it. Because if Tedros had to leave his wife and kids at home with a fucking migrant, would he pick a 12-year-old girl from Ukraine? Or would he pick a fucking 25-year-old hairy-ass geezer from the Yemen? Think about it. Think about it, Tedros. Anyway, I think that'll do me for one day. I've had enough. I hate talking about this shit. I hate it when I could be talking about fun things like Harry Potter spitting sailors' cocks out of his mouth before he delivers his lines. And instead I've got to discuss this fucking trivial minutiae that even a blind man knows the answer to. Oh yeah, there's a fifth point. Just one more regarding us saying, oh, we're not really paying enough attention to the foreign people. The UK was 99.99% ethnically homogenous in 1950. For the last fucking 7 decades, all we've done in the Western world is import fucking people that happen to have a tan, and we've given them free money, free accommodation, free clothes, free food, educations for nothing at the detriment of our own working class. 60% of black kids in Britain on free school meals get to go to university compared to 6% of white working class lads. All we've done is throw money at them for fucking 7 decades, and these cheeky, horrible cunts have the brass neck to take the piss out of you, ladies and gentlemen. Steal from you year in, year out, rob the bus drivers, rob the bricklayers, rob the window cleaners, and then after 40 years, pilfering from your pockets, educating waifs and strays from the fucking third world while your children languish working in the fucking McDonald's because all the free university places have got to the Somalian kids and the Nigerian kids, and then turn around and say, oh, yeah, you don't care about black and brown people. Yes. Suck my fucking stump, Tedros. You can suck it, and the BBC can suck it, and Sousa and Jack Doorstop and any other twat in Silicon Valley can fucking suck it. Because I'm right and you're wrong. And everybody with eyes and ears knows it. Everybody with eyes and ears knows it. And just as with Posey and Megan, who I talked about the other day, time will prove us right. And you can talk about wrong side of history all you fucking want. One of us is on the wrong side of history. My woke friends. But it ain't fucking me. Shut, did I mess that up? One of us is on the wrong side of history. Yeah, but it ain't me. My woke friends. It's fucking you. And time will prove it. And time will prove it. Tedros. No, Blue Van Man, that was Davros. Neely. I'd rather have a conversation with fucking Davros than Tedros, to be honest. Right, so never forget it, lads and lasses. I'm off, but never forget it. We're the good guys, and they're the villains. And they can call you names all the like. It'll never change the harsh reality of the fact. They are morally bankrupt. They are fucking terrible people, and they will lie, cheat, and steal to fill their pockets at your expense. So fuck them. All right? On that high note, I'll see you all tomorrow. I've got shit to do. One of my co-workers called out sick, so I've got to pull a fucking shift tonight. I'll see you all for a live stream tomorrow. Keep smiling. It is funny if you think about it. And yeah, I'll see you all soon. Cheers.